It is time to retire that old Black & Decker blender, and I think we're gonna go with the big dog. I just hit an all-time low. Another pound lost. 183.6. Lost another pound, 1.1 pound to be exact. Yesterday I was 184.7, and as you saw, 183.6. So the scale keeps dropping. Yesterday I did a full sugar fast. Today I'm probably going to actually eat normal, have some protein, and we'll see how the scale drops or continues, hopefully, tomorrow after having a meat day. So things are moving in the right direction. My ultimate goal is to get to 180. So we are getting very, very close. I hate to admit this, as a keto carnivore guy for over 10 years, I think the sugar diet / sugar fasting, there is a difference between the two. Hopefully you know the difference after watching a lot of my videos. But I think they're actually better than doing the keto and carnivore diet. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain why I think sugar fasting and the sugar diet is better than carnivore and keto, okay? So this is my second week doing the sugar diet with some sugar fasting. So there were some days I had protein and other days I didn't have protein. That's really the difference. Sugar fasting, it's strictly sugar, fruit juice, fruit smoothies, honey maple syrup, stuff like that, peaches in a can with the syrup. Whereas the sugar diet, you get to have some protein with it. So in my 2 weeks, I actually took an average. So far total, I've lost 8.7 pounds in 14 days. If you divide that by 2, I lost 4.35 pounds a week. And that averages to about 0.6 pounds per day. So almost a half a pound per day. And I kind of stalled in the second week. So that was still fast compared to keto and carnivore. So let me tell you what I did back in 2018, what my average weight loss was. So my average weight loss back in 2018, when I lost 70 pounds in 7 months, if you average that out, that's about 2.25 pounds a week, 10 pounds a month. I've almost lost 10 pounds in just 2 weeks. Whereas keto carnivore, it took me a whole month to lose 10 pounds. So that is very, very fast. Now, I'm not saying that I'm gonna replace keto and carnivore with the sugar diet, but I'm gonna do what's called a hybrid, okay? Now, this is all context. This is gonna be what I'm going to do. I'm not saying you have to follow it. You can, but if you have a lot of weight to lose, I would just recommend doing a lot of sugar fast. That's where you're just gonna eat nothing but sugar stuff. You know, the fruit juices, smoothies, candies, honey, maple syrup, those kind of things. And then every once in a while, throw some protein and starch in there. You know, maybe do it like every 3 days or something like that. Do a full sugar fast for 3 days. On the 4th day, throw in some protein. So how I'm gonna structure it, because I've only got like 3.6 pounds left to lose and I'm at my goal, is you wanna do what's called ETRF. This just means early time restricted feeding. So on the days that I have protein, I'm gonna make sure that I have it early in the day. So here's a perfect structure. In the morning, I'm gonna have my big sugar bomb, you know, my smoothie and fruit juice, and I'll still drink my orange juice on the way to the gym. Once I'm done with the gym, I'm gonna come home, wait about an hour, and I'm gonna cook my normal keto protein meal with like eggs and bacon or whatever, right? But I'm gonna cut that meal off by at least 1 or 2 p.m. And then I'm gonna go the rest of the day not eating anything. And if I get a craving, I'll have some sugar. Because the worst thing you could do when you're craving is having something that is gonna take forever to digest. Because in other videos, I said I was gonna have my lean protein in the evening times. Well, after doing this experiment, I found that I would go up on the scale if I had my leaner protein in the evening time, because protein takes a while to digest, whereas simple sugars at night is in and out of your metabolism really quick. I mean, it's metabolized in the liver very quickly, so you're not gonna gain weight on the scale all right? So that's the perfect structure that I'm gonna start using for me because I'm so close to my goal. And if you're someone who's close to their goal like I am, I believe this would be the perfect structure. And I know this from experience because I've done ETRF in the past. And just doing a regular keto carnivore diet, I would front load all my calories at the beginning of the day, and then I would go the rest of the day not eating, because here's what happens. You're gonna burn all those calories off. Your body needs more calories early in the day because you're more mobile, you know, you're working out, maybe you're at your job, you're taking, whatever it is, you're more active. People at night are not active, all right? They're sitting on the couch watching TV. Makes no sense to eat a bunch of calories toward the end of the day. So, man, if I had to do this all over again, I mean, look, we all learn through experiences. You know, no one was really doing this sugar diet 10 years ago. Some people were. I mean, there's very, very few of the population that were doing this type of eating. So this has been an amazing experiment as a keto carnivore guy. I tried to keep an open mind, and I used to bash sugar. You know, I used to bash people. Oh yeah, sugar, carbohydrates are the enemy. Now I realize sugar's not the enemy. Eating all fat is not the enemy. It's processed foods, because those foods have both sugars and fats. That's why people experience the crash. That's why people have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. It's because of the combination of the two. Now, there's gonna be days where I have so-called dirty days or cheat days where you can combine sugars and fats, but you wanna do it early in the day. The worst thing you could have is, like, let's say you have a donut in the evening. Well, that's a sugar and a fat. That's gonna take forever to digest because fats slow down the absorption of sugar. You don't want that. So if I ever decide to have a donut, I'll eat it early in the day, because I know as I go about my day and I'm working out and I'm doing different activities, I'm gonna burn right through that. It's gonna be no problem. And here's the thing, I know this from experience. Another point I wanna make about, I know this from experience, why it took me longer to lose weight on keto carnivore. Now, I did do it strict, but there were times where I kind of gave into my temptations. And what did I give into? Sugar. So it makes more logical sense that if you're someone who's done keto carnivore and you've struggled with cravings at times and you find yourself giving into stuff like sugars and stuff, the sugar diet might be the best option for you. Just try it. Try it as an experiment. Doesn't mean you have to do it forever. I'm not doing it forever. I'm gonna be doing a hybrid. I'll be having my meat days, and then I'm gonna have my sugar days. If I start to notice on my meat days that the scale starts going up, that's when I'll do a sugar fast the next day. Also, I've been saying this in videos as well, is that I used to do a 48-hour water fast. Instead of doing a 48-hour water fast every single weekend like I've been doing, I'm going to do a sugar fast instead. It just makes so much more logical sense. And the other reason why I know a lot of keto carnivore people give into their temptations is I saw a carnivore channel of a guy who was very overweight, and he calls, I forget the name of his channel, but it has the word carnivore in there. I'm like, how is this guy talking about eating carnivore when he's so overweight? And I thought, well, okay, let me not be judgmental. Maybe he's just starting on his journey, and that's why he called his channel Carnivore something. I don't remember. There's a bunch of them out there, by the way. So I left him a comment, and I basically said, actually, there was a video that he was doing where he was eating like a whole plate of like chicken breast. So he was showing people what he was eating. And then he actually said what the time was. He said, yeah, it's about 8 p.m. I'm gonna have this whole plate of chicken breast, and then he was gonna eat something else. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you're gonna eat all that at 8 o'clock at night? I was like, there's no way this guy's losing weight. Absolutely no way. So I left him a nice comment. I said, hey, just curious, that seems to be awfully late to eating chicken at 8 o'clock at night. I'm just curious, are you losing weight? I can't imagine that this is actually helping you eating that late. You know what his response was? He goes, well, I lost 100 pounds on carnivore, but I fell off the wagon and gained 65 pounds back. So what does that tell you? That tells you he probably gave into his temptations, started eating the processed stuff again, sugars and fats like we talked about, and mainly he probably just gave into sugar. So
I say all this to say that if you're someone who still craves sugar, you still want to have it from time to time, maybe doing a sugar fast is the right way to go about it. In combination with a sugar diet, if you want to throw some protein in there because you're so afraid of losing muscle mass. I know a lot of people are afraid of this when they're doing this type of diet. They're afraid of losing muscle. They feel like they need the amino acids, which you do. But I've been saying in other videos, the thing that is more important for building muscle is stimulating the muscle through resistance training, not protein. Yes, you need both, but stimulating the muscle is way more important. So I hope this helps. I just wanted to give you my experience of what I've experienced. I've done all these diets. I've done keto, I've done carnivore. I even went vegan for 21 days, just as an experiment. And what I found is I have never lost more weight than doing this sugar diet, sugar fasting. Like I said, I averaged 0.6 pounds a day, made some mistakes. I probably could have lost more, but I was just learning. You know, last week I was in the learning phase, so I made some mistakes. I probably could have lost at least a half a pound a day. And then I averaged 4.35 pounds per week. That is almost double the rate of doing keto and carnivore. So you have a decision to make. I'm not saying you have to do it, but hey, I'm just telling you what my experience was, and it's been an amazing experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and head home, and we're gonna start our day. It is time to retire that old Black & Decker blender, and I think we're gonna go with the big dog, the Vitamix. This thing will do everything. If I'm gonna be doing this smoothies and sugar diets and sugar fasting, this is probably gonna do the trick. So if we're gonna get that blender, we're gonna have to stock up on some fruit. I'm getting pretty low, so we're gonna get some fruit juice, some fruit, and we'll see what else they got. All right, we got tons and tons of fruit to choose from. So I'll probably get this one. All right. Yeah, let's see what else we can get here. We got lots to choose from here. And of course, we could get some blueberries. But there's one I'm looking for. I don't see it. It was like a tropical one. I don't even see it now. We gotta find that somewhere. Let's see, we do have a smoothie one. Man, I don't think I see that one. Nope. Wow, I think they're out of that one. Man, never take your kids and everything to Costco on a Saturday. So, if you know what I'm talking about, man, Costco on a Saturday with your whole family. My mother-in-law was with us. It gets crazy. But, so they didn't have my festival fruit with the papaya, pineapple, mango. I couldn't believe it. So we got a couple of these mango chunks. There's another one. We got some of the mixed berry. All right, got some of that. Got some strawberries. All right, and then let's see. I think that was it. I think everything else. Got some egg whites, some stuff for the kids and all that. But that's not the main thing I want to show you. So let's just put this aside real quick. And I'll be right back. I'm excited for this, guys. All right, we ended up with the Vitamix blender. And as you can see, let me move all this out of the way here so you can see. Been doing a little house cleaning. The 1980s Black & Decker blender is missing from this spot. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this Vitamix out. I can't wait to use it. I have always wanted these. This is the same, I think the same blender that Smoothie King uses. So I'm really excited to use this since I'm gonna be doing, you know, sugar fasting, and not saying I'm doing like sugar fasting every single day. I'm still gonna incorporate some meat, and I love keto and carnivore and all that kind of stuff. But on my fasting days, instead of doing a full 48-hour fast, I get to do a sugar fast. I mean, how cool is that? Plus, I'm going to run my body off of sugars in the morning and afternoon, go to the gym, come back, and then I'll probably have some type of lean protein meal and kind of cut the meal off by 2. And if I get a craving toward the end of the day, I'll have some sugar and I'll be able to go to sleep better. I think it's going to be an amazing addition to my current lifestyle, so I'm looking forward to it. But man, am I most looking forward to this Vitamix. All right, so I got to get this fruit in the freezer because it is thawing out. Had to have a long drive I took, you know, from Costco with all the traffic on a Saturday. But I also have some blueberries in the freezer. We didn't have to get any of that because I already have that in the freezer. But yeah, I'm excited about this with the Vitamix. This is going to be an awesome addition. No more Black & Decker blenders. Why not do an unboxing? Let's just go ahead and let's just show what this actually looks like. I got to tell you, these things are pretty expensive. Yeah, these are not cheap, but I'll tell you what, they're a lot cheaper to go through Costco than it is to go to the manufacturer. They're a lot more expensive going through them. So Costco has definitely got it for a little less. I think this one, I think they had one for $4.99. I think this one was like $3.99. So yeah, let's just check this. Let's just do a little unboxing. This will be kind of cool. So let's see what we got here. We got our Simply Blending recipe book. All right. Don't know if I'll use that. I've become a pretty avid smoothie expert now. I'm becoming a smoothie king now since I've started this sugar diet. Now that is a lot bigger than the Black & Decker one that I had. So now I can make multiple smoothies with this. I have to figure out how to, there we go. Okay, cool. We got the directions, all right. 10-year warranty. That tells me if this thing has a 10-year warranty, that tells me that these things don't break down. So it looks like we got some more stuff in here. Let's see if we can get that out. Let's see here. Looks like we got our little, I don't know, like I guess it's kind of like a plunger, I guess, that you kind of put the fruit down. I never had to use one of those before, so I don't know why I would need that. Now let's get the main beast of this thing. I think I got everything out of here. Yep. All right. So we are going to become smoothie kings on the sugar diet now. Pretty cool. I think they had them in gray and black. Looks like it's pretty straightforward. I mean, yeah, I'll probably have to look at the directions. Probably won't need a whole lot of directions on this. So I guess this just sets up on here. Voila. So that's what it looks like. I can't wait to get started and see how, I'm telling you what, it's gonna be a lot more time efficient than doing that Black & Decker thing. I was having to unplug it because the buttons were sticking and I couldn't even turn the machine off. So it got kind of a hazard there. But so yeah, this is it. This was the, let's see, what model was this? I think I forgot to say. This is the Venturist Pro. So that is, let's see, it's actually it's a Costco exclusive. So you can only get this one at Costco. So that's the main difference between the other one that's more expensive than this one. This is a Costco exclusive. Blenders that last up to 10 times longer, 10-year full warranty. It even self-cleans. That's pretty cool. Self-cleans in 60 seconds. Let's see, self-detect technology. So I guess it just senses when it's done, I guess. But yeah, this will make a ton of stuff, guys. I mean, this stuff will make, I think it makes like dips and soups, and it even makes like your own ice cream. It makes all that stuff. So anyway, wanted to show you that. So we're gonna go ahead and start the day, and I guess we'll do our first smoothie. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel and you don't know what I was talking about, this was the Black & Decker mixer that I was using that is now no good. So we're not gonna be using that anymore. It was a crazy making all these shakes and smoothies with that thing. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a strawberry, all right, mango smoothie. And we're gonna throw a little bit of coconut milk, coconut water in there. This is actually gonna be for my mother-in-law and for my wife. They're sitting over there, so if you hear them, they're right over there trying to be quiet with my kids, but I'm gonna make a smoothie for them. This isn't gonna be for me. Anyway, all right, let's give this a shot. Let's see how well this Vitamix actually works. So we're gonna use a little bit of coconut water. I'm really curious to see how fast this is gonna, I'm sure this is gonna be amazing. All right, so strawberries. Let's see, we'll get a nice generous scoop of strawberries. I guess what we'll do is we'll do 2 strawberries and 2 mangoes. I like fruit juice in mine because I need the extra sugar. They don't want the extra sugar, so we're just gonna keep it a little bit more healthier. And let's see how well this actually goes. We'll put a little bit more coconut water in there. All right, here we go. Let's see how well this thing works. Put that on there. I think we're all good. Power on. All right, let's see how this works. All right, I think we got it now. I had to add more liquid to that. It was a lot of fruit, so I went ahead and put more in there. And yeah, this looks really good now. Oh yeah, it's definitely done. All right, let's check this out. This looks really good. I may have to have some because this looks like there is a lot in there. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this. We're gonna try it, and yeah, I'm glad I got this and won't have to use that thing anymore. That smoothie was so much better since I got that Vitamix. Okay, so we already had the smoothie. I waited a few hours. Today I am going to have a meat day / dirty day. All right, so I've lost a lot of weight. I'm finally down to that 183.6. I've only got like 3.6 pounds to go. I've been sugar fasting all last week. I only had protein twice. So we are going to have eggs today. Now it's probably, let's see, it's 1 in the afternoon. All right, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna stop eating by 2. I'm not gonna eat anything else after that. But if I get a craving, I'll just have some sugar. All right, so we're gonna have 4 eggs, and I got some leftover, like, you can't really see it. There's like some leftover meat under there. So we're gonna have that, but that's not all. There's more. What we're gonna do, because I wanna test this to see if I can lose weight on the scale. Because I've been doing this whole sugar fast for 2 weeks. All right, hardly any protein. I haven't cheated at all. I'm gonna make sure to cut my meal off by 2, and I wanna see if I can get lighter on the scale. So I'm gonna add one more thing to the eggs. Yes, I'm gonna have some white pizza. My mother-in-law and my wife ordered pizza last night for the kids. They had some. We have a whole bunch left over. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and have this today. Just make sure to cut the meal off by 2. And if I get a craving, I'm just gonna reach for sugar, and then we'll wake up the next day and we'll see if I actually lost weight. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna enjoy this meal. I know this video is long enough. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like that video. It really helps the algorithm. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and always hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow.